Hi everyone, and welcome to the Inside Guide podcast. My name is Marion, and my mission is to help you to empower your life and improve your relationship with yourself. I help you to open your minds to new possibilities and uncover your true potential. Each week, I see the show growing, and it is thanks to you. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. If you like the message that I try to share with the world, the best way to support the podcast is to share it with your friends, subscribe to the show, and rate it 5 stars on iTunes. Thank you, and let's begin. Hello everybody, and welcome to this episode number 14. Today I receive a friend that I met traveling. Mathilde quit her job a few years ago and started 2 businesses aligned with herself. So today we will talk about aligning your work to what is important to you and to your core values, how to know what we want and how to find motivation. So let's get started. Hi Mathilde, how are you?
Hi Marion, I'm good, and you?
I'm very good. I'm so happy to be with you today on the Inside Get podcast. So, for everyone that are listening to us today, I am interviewing Mathilde. We met in India. I met Mathilde. So, Mathilde is a French name, so we don't know how to pronounce it in English. You can either say Mathilda or Mathilde in French, Mathilde. Anyway, so I met Mathilde whilst I was traveling in India, in Rajasthan, and she was creating and thinking of opening her own business. And she was thinking to do a slow fashion brand. So, can you briefly describe yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay, so at the moment, I'm doing a couple of things, not all related to slow fashion. Primary job, I would say, is being a yoga teacher. And I'm also organizing events, mostly for women, around sacred feminine and tantra. And I'm also the owner of a clothing brand that is named Tilde. And so these 2 projects, actually, I started while I was starting them when I met you in India back in 2018. So these are my main things at the moment.
Yeah, that was so inspiring. I can remember you that you were going to meet all the tailors and trying to find all the saris. And I found it so inspiring that you actually try to open your own business and something to actually, how can I say, not stop, but swap the fast fashion. Because like personally, I never heard anything of it. I didn't know that it was such a huge thing for climate change. And I found it very inspiring. And you also finished your yoga teacher training when we met. So yeah, just afterwards, you just created those 2 businesses. And I found it so interesting. You know, you're such an inspiration. You're such a strong woman. So I'm so happy to have you here today. So together we will talk a bit about how to align the values, how to choose a career that can align your values, because this is what you've done. So can I ask you, what was your job before? What did you do?
So I think I should also say a few words about my studies, because this was quite logical. So I studied law, more specifically European law, and then 1 additional year in political science. So this led me to Brussels. I wanted to work in politics. I wanted to work in public affairs so as to work with lawmaking and at the European level. And this is what I did. I did a couple of internships, and then I had 2 jobs in different interest groups. My last job was to work for the European organic agriculture sector. So we were representing the interests of that sector towards the lawmakers, the Parliament, and the European Commission, and that was very interesting. I was learning a lot, from animal welfare to food processing, many things, many topics that were of interest to me. But it was also very far away from me. I felt very disconnected from what I was advocating for. and it kind of built frustration within me. But so this is where I come from. I have a legal background. I'm a lawyer by training. I have drastically changed my job.
Well, I get you. I was a nurse before, so being a nurse and then a coach. But yeah, I feel like everyone, I mean, a lot of people feel this disconnection between their work, what they do for living, and it's such a part of our lives. We spend so much time working that a lot of people, I feel like they're truly unhappy in what they're doing, and so they feel really this disconnection. So I want to ask you, why did you quit this job? What was like the main reason you quit this job?
Yeah, there was this frustration that I felt more and more of not seeing concrete results of what I was doing on a daily basis. There was also the fact of being sitting all day long in front of a screen. I would have rather interacted with human beings and being static. It was really hard for me. I wanted to add movement into my life. Or I was rushing to sports or yoga after the end of each working day, at the end of each working day. And this was not the balance I wanted. Yeah, actually, I wanted something more balanced. And I had an opportunity to move abroad, so I just took it and I left. It was very spontaneous. But these were the two main reasons, yeah. Frustration of not seeing the concrete results of my daily work and being sitting all day long, 5 days per week. And so despite the very interesting topics I was working on, the nice atmosphere at work, I felt something was wrong. I think I'm very demanding towards myself, and I wanted to give myself a chance to create the perfect conditions for my work to be fulfilling. And of course, it's been really hard since I started my businesses, and I'm not there yet. I'm not where I want to be, but it's better at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and you created like such a great foundation, like a solid base that will get you where you want to go. Like I feel like we always, we want to improve, we're always moving forward, but at least you created this like this, very solid base that will get you where you want to go. So what was your reasons for opening your business? Like, how did it come to you? How did you think of it?
I gave a couple of interviews since I started my brand, and every time I'm being asked this question, this is hard for me because I still don't know. For the yoga, it was quite obvious. I went for yoga teacher training, so I wanted to teach yoga. It's just that when we met, I had come across these fabrics in Jaipur, and I just thought, let's do something out of them. And then you and I went to the factory and we did the models. We tried on the pieces. I remember it's been so far away, but I just wanted to create something of my own, I guess. I think this arose from frustration of not having my own creation, not being able to express my creativity in the type of jobs I was in before. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
And I love it. You know what? I feel like it's very good to have someone who is like, I don't know why I started, but I just did. And that's it. Because I feel like, we need to try things. Like most of the people, they think that they have to be really clear, that, they have to know where they're going. And this is why I love your story, because I know that it wasn't really clear. You were like, oh, why not? And you just tried. And that's amazing.
Yeah, I just tried. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. I've been through very tough phases in both, actually, mostly in the slow fashion project. COVID has been really challenging at many levels, but not just COVID, also before, like creating a slow fashion brand from A to Z on my own, having no previous experience of what, setting up a business is about, or I never studied business and I'm not very business oriented, I think. So it has proven to be tough and challenging, but I feel like it was the right thing to do. And now I can see that things are slowly getting together, and I'm more confident about the future than I used to be. And what was just a holiday project, selling a couple of crop tops back in France or Belgium, actually became one of my main jobs. So
That's amazing. That's so inspiring. So I have a good question for you, because I know that lots of people, they don't know what to do. They always say this. And I was like this too. I was like, okay, I know that I don't like to be a nurse. I know that I don't like to work in a hospital, but I don't know what to do. So how did you know what you wanted to do?
this is also a question I asked myself for so long, so long. I remained in frustration at work because I had no clue what else I could do. I didn't know what my passions were, or so it was very challenging for me for many years. And I guess yoga was the start of it, because I started it as a student, a practitioner, which I still am, of course. And I guess doing the yoga teacher training kind of triggered something. Maybe it triggered something in me, in the sense that I realized I could be independent, or I could live out of it, or at least at the beginning I thought so. It's really hard to to live 100% from teaching yoga. But I guess, I don't know, I guess it just came naturally to me. Maybe in order to find how you want to change your job, or in order to find something, maybe it's good to try out a few things, maybe by traveling, or going to different sports, or going to different talking circles. Or I don't know if you have this in Australia too, but we have meetups here in Europe where you can meet people around. There are so many different opportunities, at least in cities, to discover, to learn, to exchange, to nurture yourself with other people's experiences. Maybe that would be a good start. Things are still quite mysterious to me on how I arrived where I am now.
Well, from what you're saying, what I take from it is that first you tried a lot of things. I mean, you just tried, you had an idea and you tried it, which is like very good. And also starting with what interests you. If, as you said, if you're like into gardening or like growing plants or climate change or whatever, just try something. Just try to meet new people. Try to get out of your comfort zone. This is what I get from you. Am I right?
Yeah, and actually, something else coming to my mind is that when people start their own business, at least when they want to, coach or help people or give advice, it comes from a place of passion and personal experience. Sometimes people say, "Yeah, I was working in marketing, or I was working in telco for 10 years," but on the side, I was always giving advice to my friends on how to garden. And one day I decided that maybe I could make money of what I was always giving people advice about. So it was not the case for me, but I've noticed that it's the case quite often around me. You turn your passion, or you turn what interests you the most into a profitable activity. And also one thing which we talked about briefly before is that I'm never scared to try, or I'm never scared to rush into things. I don't wait to have the fully fledged planning or business plan to
Yeah.
start. But I was never afraid to jump wherever I'm jumping into, not knowing really what's awaiting for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I speak about this thing with people, they say, "Oh, but I'm still working on part 2 of my business plan." And I ask them, "But how long has it been?" "Oh, it's been 4 years, but I'm not entirely sure that it will work out the way I imagine it would." And the thing is, it will never ever work out the way you thought it would, but the plan will never unroll as it is written on your paper.
This
And
is
this
so
is
true.
something, and this is something well, it gives me a good excuse to not write any business plans, actually, but because I'm too lazy. The answer is just to try. It's just to jump into the unknown.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, this has proven to be efficient. Not efficient, I don't like this word, but not successful. It has proven to be the right way for me to do things.
I
Even though,
couldn't agree with you more. Like, I love it. I agree with you so much, because you never know. You never know. And yeah, you never know how it's gonna unfold. So just go for it. You have an idea, you love it, just try.
in my experience, it has always worked out to just do it, try it out, and work out the details later on.
Yeah.
This is how I do. I understand it might sound very challenging or undoable for many people. We all have our own fears and our own barriers. So this is what like hinders us from sometimes moving forward and experiencing in a different way of doing things. But this is everything. This is all what you're coaching people on. And
no, this is amazing. And as you said, there's always a part of unknown. There's like, we can't control everything. We cannot control a global pandemic. We cannot control, I don't know, like whatever, like you lose someone, you know, you lose like your partner or like someone of your family. So there's always a part of the unknown. So you cannot be 100% ready. Can I ask you, what are your core values and what is your mission with your two businesses? What is the message behind Tilde, so your slow fashion brand, and what is the message behind all the yoga thing that you're doing, the retreats and the events that you're doing with the woman?
I'm gonna try to link the two because ideally my two activities are linked and they make sense all together. I think it would be to provide for people an alternative way to look at how things are being done or constructed or discussed in our society. With my slow fashion brand, I want to offer, an alternative to consume, to wear clothes in a different way. And when I give my yoga classes or when I organize retreats around sacred feminine, it's really about meeting yourself, meeting your inner self, and meeting other women or other beings in a more authentic and in a more authentic manner. I would position myself as someone who can, open open doors for doing things in a bit of a different way than what our society offers. Our society gives us a couple of options on how to function, how to interact, how to behave in the structures that we have. And for me, it's important also to offer options to people on how to meet in a bit of a more authentic way, not speaking about the weather or why they arrived in Brussels in the first place, but maybe connect from the heart space, my heart space to your heart space. And I know it always sounds very, very mysterious when I start to speak about these things. It's much easier to speak about my slow fashion brand. I want to give people the opportunity to connect from heart to heart, to open up even to a stranger.
So from what I understand, you linked Tilde, so your slow fashion brand, and all your yoga events and classes by opening to new possibilities and a way to meet with people in a different way that we've been taught, that we learned.
Yes, it's the perfect summary of what I was trying to say with my English that hasn't been used for quite a while.
It's all right. No, that's very clear. And I really love it because I feel like we really need this. So how did you align your career with your core values? How did you align your career with what is important to you? Were you aware when you started this that you wanted to be more aligned in yourself?
Yes. So when I registered for the yoga teacher training, I knew, and I always knew I wanted to help or support people in a way or another. But like we said before, I hadn't found the way to do it. I hadn't found how this would happen. So this is one of the values I have, that through my job, I'm providing support
and connection,
other people and connection. Yeah. And I guess I was, thanks to my previous job, I was quite aware of the issues around ecology, sustainable development. So it was out of question for me if I would start my own clothing brand that I would use new fabrics or that I would have the clothes produced in dodgy factories. So I had these two values and it was very obvious, and I've always been very strict on it. I wanted to use only upcycled materials. And it's actually a big challenge because very often my customers or my friends tell me, why don't you start with a yoga clothing line? And I'm like, no, I don't want to, because I don't want to use new materials. And even though I have plenty of ideas, I want to stick to upcycling. And I've always been strict on that. And I don't think there's a need to produce new clothes. And many other ethical brands do it very well, but I don't think it's the place of Tilde. And I really wanted the human to be at the center of my business too. And when you met me, I was still in the process of searching for a good factory where they would have decent working hours, decent wages, where there would be fixed paychecks. Yeah, these were the values I really wanted to have at the center of Tilde. It's much more complicated to build a sustainable, ethical fashion brand than to actually go for the first factory you come across and produce your pieces with the conventional cotton. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much more challenging. When you want to do things in an ethical, whatever it is that the word ethical covers for you, you will always come across issues, obstacles, always.
How did you find the motivation to change completely? How did you find, the motivation to open your businesses and to stick to all of that?
I think it comes from a place of exigence, of being demanding to myself, of having high expectations. That's it. I suffered so much being stuck in the office from 9 till 6, 5 days a week. I suffered so much from it, physically, psychologically. I thought if I'm changing jobs, it has to be really up to my expectations. I have to, if I gain freedom, I really must do it in the best way as I can. So the motivation was really to, leave a space of unhappiness, being not fulfilled, being frustrated every day, to allowing myself to dream and allowing myself to create exactly the jobs I wanted.
Because you said it was being demanding for yourself. But I feel like it was more demanding for your life. Like, I feel like from what you're saying that you didn't want to settle just for like a basic life, just for what you had, and you had like high expectation that you wanted to have to live the life kind of like of your dreams, being like aligned with yourself, going to work, working, feeling like, I love what I'm doing. Is that right? Like that's what I feel when I hear you talking.
Yeah, I believed in the possibility that one day my job wouldn't feel the way my employed jobs felt. I believe that my job could be a source of happiness, fulfillment, and income, because that's also a very important component.
So if you could give one or few tips for someone who wants to align their passion with their work, who wants to choose a career aligned with their values, what would you say?
Maybe for people who are not as bold and crazy as those like me, who just jump into the pool not knowing where they're going, I would say that a step-by-step approach is probably much easier and much more accessible. For example, having a full-time job 5 days per week, maybe a first step would be to go for part-time and maybe take that time either to deepen your passion or to explore new things and maybe find a passion on the way. Because when you have only 4 days per week as an employee, then you have 3 days remaining to dive into new topics, to meet new people. And as I say that, I realized that one thing which really helped me was to meet people who had more experience than I did and to get inspired by them.
That's true.
This was also something that really helped me to
I
learn from those people with more experience, to get advice from them, maybe to get a mentor if you already know which project you wanna develop.
Yeah, that's true. It's so important to get help. When you get help, you go so much faster and you learn and you improve. So I feel like it's a very important part too. So can you share with us what you're offering at the moment? What are your offers and who's concerned? Because I know that you live in Belgium. You live in Europe. You're from France, but you live in Belgium. So who's concerned by your offer and what are you doing at the moment?
At the moment, so I should specify first that everything I do is in French. That's something quite important. I give yoga classes in my studio in Brussels. This is for small groups of maximum 8 people. I give Hatha flow and Yin yoga classes several times per week, and I also organize workshops around authentic connection and presence. If I would translate in English, that would be something like that. And it uses tools from Tantra to yoga to breathing. And another thing is what we call in English retreats. But basically, I organize events over several days for women where they get the opportunity to discover themselves, meet with others. I'm very attached to the concept of sorority. Providing a place for women to meet together, to connect in a very authentic way. So these are the foundations of the events I offer, actually.
Okay.
And the next one, everything takes place in Belgium.
And what about Tilde? What are you doing with it at the moment?
I'm still, there's still a website where I sell blouses, kimonos, headbands, but it's been 2 years. I haven't been.
They are amazing. Seriously, go and check it out. I will put all the links in the description. But I love all those scrunchies that you do. I know that you have teddy jackets, you have top crop, and you have blouses and everything. And they are amazing.
Thank you. It's been quite challenging. I've been finding myself in a bit unmotivated about Tilde in the past month, actually, because I haven't been able to travel to India for 2 years, which has made me really difficult to come up with a new collection, to create new pieces. I've been launching collections with my bestsellers, kimonos and blouses. It's really, really, really challenging to come up with new creations while not being able to be with the factory, working together on the patterns, fine-tuning the pieces. So
So for those who are interested and would like to buy, because I know that your website is also in English for people, because I know that you only deliver in Europe, right? Like, how does it work if people are interested and want to buy?
Well, I deliver only to Europe simply because the shipping fees to countries such as Australia are really, really, really high. Sometimes somebody writes me from the US, and yes, I do deliver to them, but then they have to support the shipping fees, which are about a bit more than 15 euros. So it's but there's also my showroom in Brussels. So for those Belgian people listening to us, they can always book an appointment and get an opportunity to try on the pieces, actually.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I regularly go to fairs in both France and Belgium. I'm going next weekend, actually, to a fair in Paris for artisans and makers. So this is another way to discover what I do.
So here you go. So mainly like in person, if you want to meet Mathilde, if you want to see what she's doing, you can meet her in Paris. In France, you can meet her in Brussels, in Belgium. But if you are still very interesting, you can still get in touch with her and see what's going on. If you are in the US, if you are even in Australia, like who knows, what she's doing is amazing. So go for it. And can I ask you, do you have others projects in the future? Like, I don't know if there's like more and more people interesting in the US or wherever in the world, or for example, even for your yoga classes in Brussels, would you do it in English too?
Actually, I used to teach yoga in English only. Yeah, I would be really, really happy to get an opportunity to travel and do my job in other countries. That would be wonderful. Yeah, but I would be delighted, to get to teach and to organize events in foreign countries.
That's great. So see, guys, if you are interested, go and message Mathilde and try to motivate her. She can. We met in India, and she has amazing abilities. So I'm sure she can do all of that. So do you want to say one last thing to those who are listening, who feel very inspiring by what you've done, who really have this willpower, really wants to change and to choose a work that is really aligned with themselves? Do you want to say a last thing?
Yes. So if I look back, when we met 4 years ago, I would have never ever imagined that you would be interviewing me today in English about my jobs that I created actually just when we met. So I guess the last thing I want to say is to never, never lose hope. Always keep faith on whatever might come out, actually, whatever might unfold, because you never know. You never know what will happen. I would have never expected that you would be interviewing me today.
Me neither.
Now here we are, you in Australia, me in Belgium, having both started our own businesses. And I don't think that any other would have foreseen that when we met. But we both knew that we wanted something different. We were both hoping for drastic change. You were traveling at the time. I had just quit my job, and we were into this path also of self-development. We were looking a lot into ourselves. And I guess this is what took us to where we are today.
That's
Prospection,
so
work, and and the belief that things can change, and the conviction that they can change for better.
That's amazing. I really love. Thank you so much, Mathilde, for being here with me. I loved our conversation. I know that it's going to inspire a lot of people. For those who are interested by the retreats, by the yoga classes, and also by the slow fashion brand Tilde, I will put all the link in the description. Thank you so much, Mathilde, for being with us. And have a lovely day, guys. And keep going, keep faith, never give up.
Thank you, Marianne.
If you listen to the Inside Guide, it's because you know that you have an extraordinary life to live, a life that is meaningful and impactful. It is my mission and my passion to help you creating it. If you like the show, then you will love my coaching program. I will guide you to make your unconscious conscious so you can get rid of your automatic behavior and start to adopt new thoughts and attitudes that support your life's choices, so you can start to gain self-confidence and feel yourself moving towards the life of your dream. If you are interested, follow the link in the description and visit my website to book a free 30-minute discovery call.